paper tomorrow. Elijah Mhlanga from the Department of Basic Education joins me now in studio to talk about the department's readiness. Elijah, you all good to go?
Yes, we are. We have put in place everything that needed to be put in place. Our examination centers are ready. We've been working on it for the past 18 months. It's a non-stop process, so we work on it all year round, throughout all the seasons. At the end of the whole process, we have about 150 meetings, all of which are done to ensure that the system is ready and that it's error-free.
Tell us about the security concerns that you have and what extra security you've got in place. Have you got specific hotspots that you're concerned about?
Yeah, we do have hotspots, particularly in Limpopo, because that's where we've had some challenges in recent years. In fact, the past 2 years, that's where we had problems with question papers leaking. So we are paying our attention to that particular province, but it's not the whole province. It's particular districts there and particular centers. So we have put in place security people. We've also added monitors. We are going to place resident monitors who are going to be there for the duration of the examinations. But over and above that, we have got security companies that are going to provide escort services to our officials who will be transporting question papers from district offices to the nodal points from where distribution takes place.
I guess is it fair to say that it's never going to be foolproof, that the risk is always that there could be some glitches within the system?
Well, where there are people, there's always a risk because people get tempted for all sorts of things. Money in particular is always an issue because in those instances where question papers have been leaked, we were told they were sold. So where there's money, people will always want to undermine the system. But at every time that happens, we are always able to find people. And last year, we invited the Hawks to help us to track down those people that were found, evidence was gathered, and the matters are in court. So that is helping to deter people from trying to cheat and beat the system.
Let's talk about the minister's, she was talking about the Second Chance Matric support program. What is that all about?
The Matric support program is an initiative that she started in 2016 to help anyone who had ever tried to write Matric but never succeeded to use the second opportunity that we have created as a department, because in her travels around the country, she came across a situation where a lot of them were asking her what it is that they can do for them to obtain a Matric certificate so they can go to higher education, for example. So she created this initiative, and since then we have been registering hundreds and hundreds of people who wish to come back and finish their schooling. Some of them dropped out in grade 9, 10, 11. Some even wrote the exam but never passed. So now we have a package of services that we have made available to those people who never passed Matric. Even those that passed but wish to upgrade, they're also allowed to come through. So she goes around the country creating awareness on the availability of this support program.
I know it's the 11th hour. Exams start tomorrow and in the coming weeks. Are there centres that you've set up around to assist pupils with last-minute sort of learning and helping them just gain that last bit of knowledge?
Yeah, it's there. In fact, we created camps as well where we invited learners to come through for additional tuition, revision, and for any other support that they might feel they need at this point. We are available also online. We have revision recorded radio lessons which people can download and listen to. We have places, our teacher centers around the country are also available. District offices, you can go there, access all this material, listen to a lesson. And those have been very helpful.
On the department's website, yeah?
On the department's website, of course. And any other material you can also print and take home. But we're also available on social media. If you have a question, we have our tutors who are available to ask people to help you for free. You don't have to pay anything. All that you need is to let us know that you need help, and we'll be at your service.
Do you feel confident that over the past year you've given those teachers, let's leave the pupils aside, that you've given those teachers enough support to be able to have given the pupils enough support to get through the curriculum sufficiently?
Yes, there's ongoing training for our teachers, particularly maths and science teachers, because when we after exams, we do what we call an analysis, like per subject, to establish what it is that gave learners a problem. Was it teaching? Was it learning? And which areas in the curriculum that we need to pay more attention to. And then we invite other institutions, NGOs, individuals that are in the areas of teaching but specializing in those particular subjects. They come through and teach our teachers and make sure that they improve and enhance their teaching techniques as well. So those are some of the things that we do. But over and above that, we have ongoing teacher development programs which we implement throughout the year to make sure that our teachers are fully prepared, that they deepen their content knowledge, but also have new ways of teaching these subjects so that learners find it easy to understand.
Can you also just describe the concept of modular learning? Those pupils that were coming through from grade 11 into their grade 12 year?
Well, we have what we call progress learners. Progress learners are learners who didn't pass grade 11. We allow to go to grade 12 on the basis of the effort that they put in place to try pass.
So how do you guarantee that effort?
Well, we look at the learner's profile. Do you attend all the classes? Do you do all the homework? Do you complete all your tasks on time? How's your behavior? Are you really giving it your all and you're still not succeeding? Is the teacher supporting you in every way that's possible and you're still not passing? But we have found that in the past 3 years that we've been implementing this policy, we have found that some of them, although they didn't pass grade 11, they actually passed grade 12, and some of them obtained bachelors. I'm talking to you now, some of them are doing their final year at university. And those learners, if they had been denied the opportunity to go to grade 12, they would have either dropped out or they
Are there a lot of them? Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Are you sure?
Absolutely, I can give you the figures when you want. So it's a decision that we have taken to support those learners that were disadvantaged in one way or another in grade 11. But when they get to grade 12, because they know that they're under pressure, they do everything that they can to make sure that they pass. Like I said, some of them
get bachelors. If I brought principals
bachelors
in here, would they back your story?
Well, they'll tell different stories because it's not a perfect situation. Some pass, some don't pass. But remember, we are not gifted in the same way. So even if we were to be given a similar situation right now, one of us will do better than the other.
But you don't want us to bring principals in here with you to talk about it?
No, you can bring them. I can also bring some other principals as well who will have another story to tell.
Have you supported the principals sufficiently?
No, we do. I mean, we not only support the principals as individuals, but we also work with the South African Principals Association as a platform to engage with principals to understand what the challenges are so that we can put structured support in place to help them. Because we want them to succeed at the end of the day. It's in our best interest. We wake up every day to go to work so that they can be successful in whatever they're doing.
You're getting pupils to sign pledges? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the pledge is a symbolic gesture. We want them to commit to an error-free and incident-free examination. We don't want them to cheat because a lot of them have been negatively affected by cheating because if we find out that you've done that, we hold you before a disciplinary system which will check if indeed you're involved. And when that is happening, you don't get your results. So there are some learners who still don't have their results because those hearings are ongoing, and we therefore discourage them from getting involved. If you see it happen, report it, because if you don't, then we assume you're involved and you also benefited unduly. So we don't want them to accept that you can cheat your way out of the education system. So that with that pledge, we hope that they will embrace a message of positive behavior during exam time, that when you're under stress, ask for help, contact us, will be there for you, but also commit to doing all that you can legally and without any involvement in activities that might get you into trouble, because it could affect your future.
The matric results are often an indication of how the system of basic education is working in the country. Are you confident that this year the numbers will be up and that it will reflect well on how the department is working?
Well, it's not the only one. I think it's the only one that people, South Africans, pay attention to, but it's not the only one. We track our performance of the performance of learners from primary school even. We analyze their performance, we track each learner's performance, and we establish if they need support, and we do that. It's just that Matric is a grade which is important in the lives of a lot of young people because it's like their final year in the school system since you started school. That's why everyone pays attention to it, because once you pass and exit, your life changes because you go to a new environment. But we do so much more in other grades during the year, not just for Matric. To us, Matric is like, it's like really the final year, but the real work starts in grade 10 for a lot of them, because that's where you choose subjects, you need support, you decide what career you want to go into. From that point onwards, that's when you need support. But of course,
often we focus on those top students, and you're happy with the number of distinctions. But I mean, the reality is that the majority of those students are battling to get through maths, battling to get through science. What support are you giving those students that are not necessarily, those top 8 distinction kind of students?
3 minutes ago, we were talking about the poor performing learners, those grade 11 that are not passing. Those are the ones that are not. So we're not even talking about the top performers. So we focus on those that are struggling as well as those that are doing well. So we balance the two.
But pushing them through is not necessarily the right thing. Would you agree with that?
Yes,
rather than getting them to understand and conceptualize what the curriculum is about, as opposed to just pushing them through because they attend a class.
You remember what I said? I said that the learner would have tried their best to achieve as required by the curriculum. And the teacher would have done all that they can to support that learner, but they're still not winning. And when they are pushed to grade 12, they do well. And we have stats to prove that, which means we focus on each individual learner and how they are doing, so that we can make sure that they too have an opportunity to progress. And we'll continue to do that, because it's important that we look after each and every learner so that all of them exit the schooling system with a good pass, which will give them an opportunity to either go to higher education institution or do something else that they might want to do. But our responsibility is to ensure that they exit the schooling system with a good pass. And for that to happen, we need to provide all the support that we can. That's why we have summer classes, autumn classes, spring classes, and everything. So we do everything right throughout the year to ensure that our learners do well.
All right. Well, let's leave it there. Good luck, I guess. It's a tense time for these kids. They're under a lot of pressure. And we just hope the department are giving them the necessary support.
It's tense time for us as well, because we don't sleep. We need to make sure that all question papers reach the right center at the right time for a month. And that's stressful. And it's a massive system involving like 10, 11 million question papers and answer sheets that we give to them and we collect at the end of the day. And immediately after that, it's marking from the 1st of December to the 15th. From there, we collect the data. And in January, on the 3rd, the minister will announce the results, because on the 7th, it's back to school again. So there won't be any time that we can lose.
So January 3rd is the results, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll chat then, no doubt, on the 3rd of January. Elijah Mplanga there, the Director of Communications for the Department of Basic Education.